Welcome to the Truth Podcast. I'm your host, Hany Rambod, and I'm here to do a Q&A. So I got my sidekick today, David. Yes, I'm still natural.
David, yes, I'm still natural butler.
Yeah, you know how some people are sober for so many days?
You're still natural for so many days.
20 years. So that's 20 years. So if you add in the months, that's 100 and 12 months times 2, 24. That's 240 some odd months that you're still natural.
I don't know if that's an accomplishment or
I'll
take it as one.
It is. It's still natty. But thanks for jumping in and helping me with this Q&A, because we do have these questions that you pulled up from various areas. So
a lot of good questions. Yeah,
we had some stuff that came on the FST7 side of things. So the FST7 page just hit 100,000 Instagram followers. Again, I just started reposting on that and having the team take up bits and pieces of different segments and then throwing that up on the Instagram page. And then for those of you that do not know, the FST7 app is available, the link below, and there has been several different updates. So make sure you go check it out. If you haven't used the app for a while and you want to get back into it, there's a bunch of different pieces. We have a progressive overload portion. There is a big wheels coming starting next week. And then we just added a new abs portion this last week. So a lot of new updates coming on the FST7 content side. So now we're going to go on to the Q&A.
Yeah, let's get right into it.
All right.
Okay, so Sam, he asks, how to lose fat. Is there any FST7 workout for it?
An FST7 workout for fat? No. There's not specifically, but doing FST7 style sets can really help heighten your metabolism. So you got to do the diet, you got to do the training, but the FST7 sets, doing that type of high intensity, high volume, I should say, training is going to help you with creating better insulin sensitivity, which indirectly helps you burn more body fat by being able to control your blood sugar and your natural insulin levels. It creates that environment for that your body's composition changes while training that way, but you got to still diet. You still got to do your cardio, but you definitely, can you get leaner from it? Absolutely. Does it make a difference? Absolutely. But you can't turn around and out-train a shitty diet.
Absolutely. And I would imagine the more FST7 exercises that you're doing, right, the more calories you're burning in turn as well.
You are, but you don't want to overdo it either, because you still got to recover. So that's why we always say, hey, look, the guys that are enhanced, can they do more FST7 sets? Absolutely. I don't know. I keep saying absolutely. Today's an absolutely great day, but you got to be careful. It's actually a real long day because we're doing this later in the evening time. And what
7 o'clock now?
It's 7 o'clock, and I'm still doped up from yesterday because I had to do a colonoscopy. And so,
can you break down what a colonoscopy is for the younger people in this generation?
You'll know when you're 40. Hopefully you won't. But basically, when you get over 40, you have to get a camera stuck up your butt, and you are out. It's like usually they do an IV sedation, but that IV sedation that's supposed to be kind of in and out of your body really quickly. I don't know if they just gave me a lot, but I was still loopy yesterday and even today a little bit.
Kind of put you out of it?
Yeah, but it's also because I've been working on Dubai time, going back and forth with Hady. So I've been really tired because I've only been sleeping about 3 or 4 hours a night.
Up all night.
So it doesn't allow you to reset. So that probably didn't help either. But going back to the colonoscopy, what they're doing is they're just checking to make sure you don't have any major polyps. If there are any, they take them out, they snip them with the tool. So as they go up inside of you, there's a camera, there's a screen, the doctor is going in there, and he's just making sure that if there's any kind of polyps, and these polyps form from irritation and I guess a multitude of things, but those, if they're not treated, can become cancer cells.
Okay.
So that's what forms colon cancer. So that's why after 40, they start recommending it.
Stay on top of it.
Stay on top of it. You get it checked every so many years, depending on if you have a family history of colon cancer, then they want you to do it more often. They want you to start checking when you're younger, because they don't want it to go too long, because it's something that can be avoidable if you get it treated. And so every so many years you have to go back. Usually it's they change it all the time, but between every 3 to 5 years, they want you to go back.
Okay.
Depending on what they find. But again, it makes you loopy. And most of the time, most people kind of just, it gets out of their system. That IV sedation gets out of your system after, I don't know, several hours. But because I didn't sleep last night, thanks, Hany, working on visa situations, then therefore I'm still really tired.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm going to definitely sleep good tonight. But it's also been a long day here at the office. And then now we're like, hey, let's jump in here and do our QA because I haven't done a podcast and I've gotten a ton of people requesting, when's the next time you're doing a podcast? I got a lot of questions.
Yeah.
So again, guys, I'm doing this for you guys. But
well, there you go. The more you know.
Yeah. Yeah, I know you're in a huge rush to go get a camera shoved up your butt.
Can't say I am.
Yeah, it sounds like an OnlyFans page.
All right. Next topic. Let's get into it. Next question. Matt wants to know, what are the best 3 exercises for biceps?
All right. So number 1 would be spider curls. I love spider curls. That's the one where you're leaning forward on a bench, chest is up on there, and you really get that great contraction. I've shown you how to do them.
Yeah. No, I absolutely love them because, again, you don't have much momentum. Right? So it's just all in your arms, all in your biceps. It burns. It burns. So yeah,
that's number awesome. 1. My second exercise, I love hammer curls. Hammer curls, good forearm activation, bicep brachialis. Just sometimes, changing it up a little bit by going slightly cross body, but any variation of that. And again, you can even do those on the spider bench too. But that is a staple. Making sure you do a hammer curl is a very, very good exercise for bicep.
A question that I see with hammer curls come up a lot of times is typically you'll see a lot of the bigger guys like Jay Cutler back in the day, Ronnie Coleman, when they're doing these hammer curls or even just bicep curls, you see them kind of swinging the weight a little bit more. Why is that?
Back then there was a lot of body English, and I still think that it works. You just got to be careful not to do too much because then you will end up swinging the weight, and it's just all of the momentum is what's carrying the weight up and down, and it's not really putting enough force on the actual bicep.
Right.
But I think a little bit of that, we call that body English, adding a little bit of that momentum, especially on the heavier weights, is okay. But for the most part, you want to try to keep it, especially on the eccentric on the way down, you want to keep it a little bit slower. But, you'd see Sean Ray do it. You see, Jay Cutler, like you mentioned, like many different bodybuilders back in the day do it on those old videos.
Yeah.
And now it's a little bit less, but I still think that it's got its place, especially when you're going heavier. It's okay to have a little bit of body English, but you want to make sure you slow it down on the way down so you can create more time under tension.
Right. And just for clarity, these guys they're moving 60-pound dumbbells, right, on bicep curls.
60, 70, 80.
Yeah.
I think Kevin LeBron was doing like 100. I don't know, something stupid.
So we're not doing 20, 30-pound dumbbells and swinging.
No. Again, you want tension on the muscle. You don't want to sit there and keep swinging.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so that was number 2. I think the third one, right now, if you ask me, I'm really loving that total arm machine from Panada. That's kind of my go-to. I know most of the gyms don't have it. I like it because you can either use a straight bar or a cambered bar, and you can do what's called drag curls. And when you do drag curls, it basically means that you're dragging, a barbell across your body. And if you don't have that machine and you want to do drag curls, you just basically can use either straight bar or you can use a cambered bar, and it goes right up to your belly button, and then you just curl all the way up, but you literally drag it up across there. And that's something that recently I'm just kind of more and more keen on because I think a lot of people don't use it, and it's some of those things just get recycled from years of doing them back in the day, and then you kind of forget about certain exercises and then come back to them.
Yeah.
So some people will love preacher curls, some people will like to do incline curls, so they feel really comfortable with that. Now, because of the Panada equipment, I'm super into that mind-muscle connection and the contraction all the way through the range of motion. So if you can find a good machine, I know some people like Prime, some people like some of the other brands of equipment out there. Different gyms have different brands. Sometimes they'll have several different brands, but just try to get that mind-muscle connection, and don't just do a machine or something that you don't feel. If you don't feel it, move on.
Yeah.
Move on. It may be the day. It might be also just that particular machine. Go to a different bicep curl machine. But again, whether I'm doing drag curls on a free weight or using a piece of equipment, I like drag curls. So I would go on that for the third one.
Well, talking about getting away from certain exercises and movements, one of the things that we're really starting to see in the younger generation is people love machines. And I think that it's so important to remember that you have to stick to the basics, like never get away from the basics, right?
Yeah.
Like your compound movements, sticking to dumbbells. Dumbbells is a big one. I remember because I love machines and that was my problem for a while, especially like, again, being in a Panada gym, right? Or just machine, when you show up to different gyms all over the place and you see all these cool different types of equipment that are coming out. Like this is a cool thing now. This isn't just your regular typical commercial gym where they've just got the regular equipment. It's like, no, like especially in Texas, they're popping up all over the place. And so you want to go in there and you want to go try it out, but you have to remember that it's so crucial to stick again to those dumbbells, those compound movements,
Always.
all those things.
Yeah. So again, it's so important because all the ancillary muscles kick in, right? So when you're doing dumbbell presses, you've seen me do that with, like, I don't know how many times I was doing chest presses with Andre for how many different chest workouts, or with Jeremy or with Phil or whoever. I think there's a meme with me and Jay, right? And Jay's doing incline dumbbell presses, and it's on every person's iPhone right now. If you just go type Jay Cutler, there's a picture of me spotting him, and he's doing dumbbell presses. And it was, I think that was getting ready for 2009 or 10 Olympia. But those exercises are have-tos, right?
Yeah.
Doing barbell squats are have-tos.
So essential.
They're so essential to, especially the younger generation.
Yeah.
You need to build that base. Now, eventually, can you go to Smith machine and do it? Absolutely.
And understanding essential form.
Right. And then, or doing belt squats, or doing a squat machine, or just doing basic leg press. But you really need to understand those exercises are fundamentals.
Yeah. 100%. Sweet. All right. Next question. Vin asks, should you train till failure every set?
Every set to failure, no. Because first of all, you need your warm-up sets. And then second, when you do your failure set, it should be one or possibly two for a particular exercise. But it's not every set, because first 2 to 3 sets are warm-up sets. Then you go into what I call the working sets. And usually that constitutes 1 to 2 sets of really good high working, 8 to 12 reps, going to failure. And then possibly, if you want to go to really like next level failure, let's just say we're using partials. Let's say you're doing forced reps, or you're doing some type of negatives. You're really taking it to that absolute failure. I don't feel like every single exercise has to be that way. I think certain ones you want to stay away from because of just pure safety. But there are some that you want to throw in those intensity multipliers. And those can be used on certain exercises, like, let's say, leg press. I wouldn't do that with squats and sit there and just, especially with somebody who's not super advanced, to do partials. But if you're going to do Smith machine and you want to do some partials at the end and you're advanced, absolutely you can do it. But I would stick to it with either leg extension or with a leg press, because it's safer and you can have somebody spot you.
Yeah. And a big one that I see people do, they go to failure on, which is really dangerous, is bench press. A lot of people don't think about that one. And, I know that you're not a fan of bench press.
No, that's just, I cringe.
Yeah.
So again, dumbbell presses, flat, absolutely. But a barbell bench press, anything more than 315, I start to get a little bit freaked out, because I've seen so many people tear their pecs on a barbell bench press.
Doing it that way.
Yeah.
And you've recommended to me that I just start doing deadlifts as I'm trying to grow my back right now.
Yeah.
But correct me if I'm wrong, you're not having your bigger athletes do that.
Yes and no. We do it, but we just got to be careful, because if you start to do those singles and doubles and you do all those and you're prone to have a really thick back, it can really push your obliques out. So when your erectors start to thicken up quite a bit, you can start to get a really boxy look. And that's why a lot of those powerlifters have a very boxy look,
right?
Because their torso and their obliques have just become so thickened by just being able to do those weights, because you need that stability. So all of that stability from your core kicks in, and it ends up just kind of making you a little more straight up and down, because like a pillar that holds up a wall or a building, that the wider it is, the more support it has.
Right.
You don't have a tapered pillar.
It's not the look.
Right. We're looking for an X frame. So you want to try to make sure you don't overcook anything that's going to thicken up your torso. So if you do have that ability to like get thick obliques or a thick erectors because of that, can it make you look up and down? Absolutely. It's, I've seen it in the last 20, 30 years. It's my own personal experience.
Yeah.
So that's why I say be careful, especially if you have the tendency to do that, especially if you're going like 600, 700, 800 pound deadlifts. Some of these guys, man, are super, super strong. And if you're going to pull off the ground with that and you don't have a crazy V taper already as it is, you could create more thickness in that torso by going way too heavy. And if your core has to stabilize you, then a lot of those ancillary muscles kick in, and then you can end up starting to look wider.
So we talk about the look, and then what about injury?
Well, I think that injury when it comes to what?
When it comes to deadlifting.
Yeah, I mean, like anything, whether it's squats or, blowing out something like your back or a knee is possible. Same thing with deadlifts. You can blow out your back doing deadlifts. You just got to be really, really careful. That's why I'm just super afraid of guys going crazy heavy weights and doing those singles or even doubles or triples with these PR style
PR sets.
Yeah, PR sets and training sessions where they're going out and doing these PRs, because when you're bodybuilding, they don't ask you how much you lift.
Yeah.
They just want to see what you look like.
Mm-hmm. And I remember when we were just at this LA Expo, a kid went up to Derek, and they don't understand this. The younger generation does not understand that you're not supposed to be doing these one set rep maxes. But I think it's definitely like a passageway for everybody just getting into the gym. It's exciting to see how much you can lift. But some kid goes up to Derek and he's like, "Hey, like, what's your bench press?" And he's like, "Hany doesn't let me."
Yeah, I love how he does it on me.
Yeah,
I thought he was on me. No, I mean the thing is that, like, again, if you're doing 315, not a problem. But if you're going 400 or 500 pounds on a bench press barbell, I think it's super dangerous.
Yeah,
I'd rather somebody else go up to 150, 170 pound dumbbells presses, whether it's flat, whether it's incline, because I think it's much, much safer than throwing a barbell on. And I think it's been proven over and over again that's the number one reason people have pec tears is flat barbell bench press.
Yeah, absolutely.
So.
Sweet. All right, next question. Austin wants to know any new products coming out for Evogen.
Any new products? Yeah, we got several different things I'm working on, but I think we can do that as a separate line item. But I'm trying to think if there's I'll go ahead and talk about the one that's coming out here in the next week or two. So new fat burner. It's called Evo Burn. So some of the Evogen Elite stores just got it in, but it's an updated version of Liposite IR.
Yeah.
There is still Liposite IR out there for those that you've been using it for many years. Works great. Stim level is about 20% less, but the thermogenic portion of it with the mitoburn and several other key factors that we've added in are very, very good. Very high thermogenic components.
Yeah.
And a bit less.
Got to experience that firsthand.
Yeah. You were beta testing it.
Yeah.
Yep.
That was an awesome experience. I mean, I've never sweat like.
Are you being sarcastic or no?
No, not at all.
Okay.
It was really cool though. Like,
because Nick hates it. Nick
hates it.
Hates it because every time he tests it, he drinks a little bit and he can't stop sweating. He can't stop sweating. Yeah. He's sensitive. He's sensitive to GBB. He's sensitive to mitoburn, and the combination of that, Advantage Z, it's got a good dose of Advantage Z in there as well, and all of the different components to it, I think work well. But I didn't know if you were being sarcastic because if you had such a tough time, the people that have tough time with it are the ones that when you drink it, you need to either train or do cardio with it to burn it off. Because if you don't, you might just sit there and sweat. I feel like you're melting.
Yeah. Quite literally, and then you'll sweat a little bit after your workout too. So.
Yeah, it still works. Some people will hit me up and be like, "Bro, I tried that sample you gave me, and I did my cardio. I took a shower, and I'm still sweating." And that's because their body's sensitive to it, especially in the beginning when you start utilizing it. It does last quite a bit, in your system. But I think it makes you feel good.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
How much did you sweat? Did you sweat as much as Nick or no?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I'm very prone. Like, again, I react really well to stuff. So when I have taken like Liposite in the past, Carnitine, all that different type of stuff, I normally sweat a lot. So the Evo Burn just took it to another level. But Yeah.
You haven't tried Evo Burn with carnitine, have you?
No, I'm
Yeah.
scared. I don't
Yeah.
need to do all that.
Well, yeah, that's the other thing. I mean, I love carnitine. I mean, I make a liquid one. I also do a powdered one, and the carnitines. And I'm a huge fan of carnitine. And I feel that adding that to the mix also can take it to the next level. But you're right. You shouldn't be taking it with anything. Evo Burn should be taken by itself, especially in the beginning, and then you can always add in the layers.
Right.
But yeah, that's
no need to go too crazy at the beginning. Here.
No. But that's going to be coming out in the next couple of weeks. So I don't know if it's going to be out in this podcast. By the time this podcast comes out, probably not. But I know the Evogen Elite stores, they have it in. So my wife's store, Nutrition Palace, up in the Bay Area. So if you're listening, and shout out to the Bay Area. I know you guys are getting hammered with rain, and I know everyone out there is rooting for the 49ers to win the Super Bowl this next week. But yeah, if you want to get some good cardio in, try it out. She has it in her store, and then a lot of the Evogen Elite stores in the whole area across the country have it because they just started getting it in. But we haven't launched it yet, so it's going to be coming out in the next couple of weeks online.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Who do you have, 49ers or Chiefs?
Ooh, that's a good question. The last time I checked the point spread, I think it was like 2.5 points
It's a close game.
to the Niners. I think it's completely dead even because I don't give the edge to the Niners because I feel the Chiefs have got momentum right now.
Right.
And the Niners, I don't want to say they barely won, but they had to come back. Mm-hmm. And I thought that they were going to handily win, just handle the Detroit
Lions.
Yeah. And I thought that, and again, if anybody I wanted to win was going to be Detroit because this is the best season they've had in years.
Yeah.
But
their head coach, Dan Campbell, is killing it.
They absolutely. So it's a great, great story because I would have loved to see them in the Super Bowl. But being from the Bay, I got to root for the Niners. But I do think that they will have problems against the Chiefs.
Yeah.
I think that they haven't won a Super Bowl since the 90s, man. Like when I was growing up, I used to watch Steve Young and Joe Montana win Super Bowls.
Yeah.
And I think they won 6 altogether. But it's, Rob, check that out. How many Super Bowls has the 49ers won?
5.
Oh, 5 Super Bowl championships. Okay, maybe I'm just
off by 1.
Well, maybe they'll
counting
win this weekend.
year.
Yeah, counting this year. But yeah, I would love to see them win just because they haven't won in a long time.
Yeah.
But Kansas City Chiefs, I feel like, are the new Patriots, man. Like how dominant they've been in the last 4 or 5 years. So
they've been here.
Yeah. So I think I'm surprised. I would give them like a 3-point advantage instead of it being almost the other way around.
Yeah.
Who do you got?
Ooh, I got the Chiefs. Yeah, I think Patrick Mahomes, he's been in this situation a few times now, and he knows what to do. And even the way that they've slowly been building up this momentum over the course of the season, and it's been really cool to watch. So I'm excited.
I heard it's because you're a Swiftie.
Oh yeah.
You love you love her.
Yeah, T Swizzle.
Yeah, is that what they call her?
I call her that.
Oh, when you text her?
Yeah. When you text her. Yeah. Everybody talking about how she put Travis Kelce on the map. What do you think about that?
She kind of did.
Oh.
She kind of did. I mean,
a lot of people are going to have some mixed opinions.
No, it's not. Because here's a fact. People are watching football more because of her. You guys just call a spade a spade.
Women are watching more.
No, and I think in general, even guys, but probably not as much on the guys, but mostly women. And I guarantee you, if you see the ratings, it's higher, right? There's higher ratings. And is for better or worse. But I'm just telling facts, man. Facts.
Yeah.
How many more jerseys is he selling now?
Yeah.
Because of her?
Yeah.
Right? I think that she's a game changer.
Well, and you got to love how every single time he scores, it just goes right to her.
Yeah.
After the clip of him scoring a touchdown, she's up there dancing in the booth, all that good stuff. So, yeah, showing a lot of views.
It's crazy because so many people hate her because they say, "Oh, every time he catches a ball, it's like they pan over to her and everything else." Yeah. It's really kind of funny, but it's just like the hate is super high.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think it makes it interesting. Yeah. I kind of I think it's entertaining.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so that was our last question. Anything you want to add?
I don't know, man. Let me ask you this: if you had a chance to date her, would you?
Taylor Swift?
Yeah.
Ooh. I don't think so. Too popular for me.
Really?
Yeah. Maybe I'll stick to something a little bit more low key. Maybe Selena Gomez or
Selena
like
Gomez.
That. Yeah.
There you go. See, Rob shaking his head over there. I'm just dying.
Rob, who was at the Lakers game that we went to? Olivia Rodrigo.
Who's she?
You don't know who Olivia?
No. No,
Gotta
pull it
know.
up. Pull it up, man. Olivia Rodrigo.
She made a really, really popular song about it was basically her boyfriend and they broke up and it was a very sad song.
I think she follows me on Instagram.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. No, I'm kidding.
No, but it was hilarious.
Don't tell my wife.
They kept
Yeah,
putting her
I
on
don't
the
even know who she is.
Jumbotron.
She just looks like a Latin artist or something. But anyways, she's popular?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, but not Selena Gomez popular. She can't be as many followers.
No,
as
not
Selena.
no.
Yeah,
Selena Gomez has been in the game a bit longer.
Absolutely. But so okay, I'll tell Taylor when she reaches out that you're not interested. So Rob, I'll go ahead and we're gonna have to console her because Tom Holland, the buff Tom Holland will not go out with Taylor Swift. All right, guys. So again, fun time is over. It's time to almost get ready for the Honor Classic. We're going to be giving you guys updates on that as well, coming up in the next couple of days on the next podcast. Thank you, brother.
Thanks, Hany.
Yeah, I'm tired as hell. It's time to go to sleep. Hany Rambod, David Butler. That's the truth.